CBS 6 News at noon.
Today at noon, a live look at the James River here in the Richmond area, now at flood stage, and that water level could continue to rise. Earlier this morning, we were dealing with foggy conditions. Will the weather conditions continue to cause problems for the river and for visibility here in our area? CBS 6 meteorologist Carrie Rose tracking that for you this afternoon. Carrie, the clouds were rolling out and they were rolling in. Now they're rolling out. And where are we at right now?
Yeah, right now we're starting to see more of that sunshine returning to us here in Richmond after we had a little bit of cloud cover come in from our northwest. There were some showers associated with this, but I don't think much of it reached the ground here in Richmond. And as we look off toward the west-southwest, you can already see blue skies again. But if you look off on the horizon, you see those little tiny white puffy clouds. That's the beginning of what may eventually become our new showers and storms in a couple of hours. So speaking of the James River, look at how murky it is. We're still at our flood warning in that mint green for the city of Richmond. So let's check some of our gauges. This is out near the Huguenot Bridge, and we are about a half of a foot shy of moderate flood stage, which is 15 feet out there, and we should hover around 15 feet this afternoon through about 8 o'clock. A little bit further downstream, closer to where Jarita is. This is down at the Locks location, and we're already up to about 9.5 feet, which is minor flood stage there. This isn't going to threaten any homes, and this is going to stay below the 11-foot stage where Dock Street would experience some water problems. That peak is still expected to happen later this afternoon. Well, the storm system that brought all that rain and water downstream is moving away from us, but we are still on the bottom side of it, which means we can squeeze out a few more showers out of this, and there's really all that's left of an isolated shower that just passed over Ladysmith and Beaver Dam and is now heading east of I-95. But as we go, as I mentioned, in a couple of hours, we should see new storms form as we have these new breaks in the clouds, sunshine for us, peak afternoon heating, right recipe for heavy downpours, lightning, and even some small hail. Cheryl.
Thank you, Carrie. And you don't have to venture actually onto the river to be impacted by the raging James. CBS 6's Jarita Patterson joins us now from Dock Street to explain. Jarita?
Hi, Cheryl. As you can see just behind me, the James River is already pretty high in this area, so you can imagine what a downpour could do to the river as it could quickly spill over just over here onto Dock Street, really creating a mess for drivers, for those who live close by, and even for those who have just been out today enjoying the waterfront. But things are calm here now, but I want to show you how the high water and swift currents looked earlier today. This was just a few hours ago, the video we're showing you. Folks have been venturing out all morning, so they are definitely not staying away. Now, I had the chance to speak with city officials who tell me they have a plan in place in the event that the river were to rise several feet, but they say they don't anticipate having to put that plan in play, which could include closing off flood walls across the city. Water enthusiasts are also weighing in, saying they are going to continue enjoying everything the River City has to offer while still being mindful of hidden dangers. All the while, city officials say there is little threat for flooding, but they are on standby.
We anticipate occurring somewhere between 4 and 5 this afternoon is 11 feet. That is not high enough for us to activate closures on the gates that affect the canal, gates that would impact pedestrian access to the river, are roadway gates. So that's where we are at this point.
People realize that that looks dangerous, but I can get one step closer and I'm still okay. And that one step, when it's slippery, can be real quickly lead to a situation, you know, when you fall in.
Again, there is no threat at this time, according to city officials, for flooding. But if flooding were to take place, the flood walls, which are located just behind me, they would quickly be shut off by those city officials who are on standby. If anything were to change, of course, we're going to make that available on our website at WTVR.com. We're live in Shockoe Bottom. Jarita Patterson, CBS 6 News.
Thank you, Jarita. 3 people had to be rescued from the James River last night. Boats were searching for them in the water close to the South 10th Street area after 10 o'clock. Those 3 people were pulled safely from the water near Haxel Point just a few minutes later. No word on what they were doing out on the water last night. Breaking news as the body of the Boston bombing suspect Tamerlan Tsarnaev is now out of the city of Worcester and, according to police, is now entombed in an undisclosed location. After police made a public plea for assistance in finding a burial plot, an unknown person came forward offering help. Police protection for the funeral home where the body was being kept since last Friday was costing $10,000 a day. In Cleveland, Ohio, the man suspected in the kidnappings and rape of 3 women who were apparently held captive for more than 10 years is facing more charges today. And police say Ariel Castro is now the sole suspect in the case that broke wide open Monday with the dramatic escape of those victims. CBS correspondent Ines Ferre has our update.
The 52-year-old suspect charged with rape and kidnapping stared at the floor, avoiding eye contact with everyone in the room. Ariel Castro's hands were shackled in front of him. He kept his chin tucked inside his dark jail suit during the 5-minute hearing.
Good morning, Your Honor.
The prosecutor said the tables have turned in this case, pointing out that Castro is now in captivity, while the women he is accused of holding prisoner for a decade are now free.
They withstood repeated beatings. They were bound and restrained and sexually assaulted, basically never free.
Bond was set at $8 million. Castro's brothers were cleared of charges in the case.
A law enforcement source tells CBS News Castro left a suicide note in his home. The handwritten letter was dated 9 years ago. He admits to kidnapping the women. He claims his parents abused him as a child and his uncle raped him.
The former school bus driver who was on unemployment asked that all of his money be given to his victims. CBS News has also obtained police documents detailing the women's allegations against Castro. Michelle Knight told police she was forced to deliver Amanda Berry's baby in a kiddie pool as Castro warned her if the baby died that he'd kill her. Knight also said Castro impregnated her at least 5 times. She said each time he starved her for at least 2 weeks. Then he repeatedly punched her in the stomach until she miscarried. Castro's case now goes to a grand jury. Ines Ferre for CBS News, Cleveland.
In Henrico, police are investigating after a man is found shot to death in a motel room near the airport. Officers were called to the Legacy Inn just after 1 o'clock this morning. The victim is a 32-year-old man whose name is not being released at this time. If you have any information about this incident that can help police, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers. You can do so anonymously at 780-1000. A local agency in charge of protecting children could be keeping them in a very dangerous situation. That's according to a report scheduled for release this afternoon. CBS 6's Katie Beck looks into what that report uncovered that has community leaders so concerned about the safety of these children.
It's appalling. And what we need to do now is make sure that that does not continue.
City Council President Charles Samuels has gotten confirmation he hoped he wouldn't.
Well, this is a big deal.
Samuels was one of 2 council members who demanded an investigation into Richmond's Department of Social Services in December of last year. Disturbing allegations that children were being left in abusive homes too long to keep foster care numbers low set several reviews in motion. And now the findings of the city auditor have come in.
None of it came as a necessary surprise, but what it did do was confirm that we were right.
Samuel says the report confirms allegations CBS 6 first reported in December. DSS employees told us then that management at the agency made the emergency removal of children from abusive homes almost impossible. It resulted in more abuse, more neglect, and for some kids, more trips to the emergency rooms in the hands of the same caregiver. Caseworkers claim to be overworked because of a high turnover in a hostile work environment. And lastly, we reported that DSS had nearly 40 missing case files for children that were discovered during the start of one review. The auditor's report will suggest that number is actually 10 times larger, that DSS is missing more than 400 children's files.
This is really troubling. The citizens and our children deserve better than this.
Councilman Chris Hilbert also called for the DSS review and got the mayor's attention on the issue. Hilbert says the details in the audit, specific stories about the care of abused children, warrant every council member's attention. He says the children in this report are the weakest and most vulnerable segment of Richmond. So this issue simply can't wait.
It is at the top of the list. It's top of my list.
This is as critical as anything else we're dealing with in the city.
Katie Beck, CBS 6 News.
That audit will be formally released by the city auditor at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Katie's investigation continues tonight on the CBS 6 News at 5 and 6. 4 chimps have to go. That's the decision of Hanover County officials regarding pets kept by Curtis Shepperson. Shepperson has 6 pet chimpanzees, but doesn't have proper permits for 4 of them. At a hearing last night, county leaders told him he has until June 23rd to get rid of those 4. Because chimps form family groups, he says facilities are asking for all 6 or none. Shepperson says giving up the 2 chimps he has a valid permit for is not an option. Government hearings today on the Boston bombings, what the city's top cop tells Congress the government should do to keep you safe. Comp time versus overtime pay. It may soon be your decision, why that's causing some concern. And unwanted birds, the solution 2 VCU scientists have come up with to get rid of geese without harming them. A sad day for fans of The Young and the Restless. Actress Jean Cooper, who played for 40 years Katherine Chancellor, has died after a brief illness. Audiences loved Mrs. Chancellor and watched as she battled demons and addictions and faced aging by having a facelift on the show and in real life. Jean Cooper received a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Daytime Emmys in 2004. Jean Cooper was 84. There's a hearing going on right now to discuss tightening security at large events in the wake of the Boston Marathon bombings last month. Boston's police commissioner told Congress that more undercover officers and special police units should be utilized at such public events. Today's hearing is the first in a series to review the government's response to the April 15th bombings, what information was known prior to the attack, and how the situation was handled. It will also review any knowledge and warnings the FBI and CIA had about the bombing suspects from Russia in 2011. Wall Street investors will be trying to keep a record-breaking streak going. The Dow and the S&P 500 both closed at new all-time highs Wednesday. At midday, the trend is downward. The Dow is off 17.5 points at 15,087. The Nasdaq is down 3.5 at 3,409. We'll have the day's closing numbers from Wall Street on the CBS 6 News at 5:30. House Majority Leader Eric Cantor of Virginia is supporting a new bill that could give workers some flexibility when it comes to trading overtime for comp time. The Working Families Flexibility Act would allow private sector employees to cash out their comp time for any reason at any time. Employers would have 30 days to fulfill the request. Supporters say it would empower working moms and dads by giving them more control and flexibility. Those opposed say employers could take advantage and grant more comp time rather than overtime pay. The bill now goes to the Senate for a vote. Keep the geese out. That's the goal of a local VCU grad who's come up with an idea he hopes will have some commercial appeal. And it all has to do with repelling potentially pesky birds. Terrence Sin and one of his professors built this device, which sends out low-frequency vibrations. It creates a kind of sound fence that keeps the geese away. The idea came from a heated battle in one Henrico neighborhood a few years ago about whether or not to euthanize a group of geese that inhabited this lake. Neighbors had been complaining that the geese were destroying their yards.
And the solution we came up with was, instead of rounding them up, packaging them, or killing them, just can't prevent them in the first place from coming onto the property. There's plenty of spaces for them to go.
Studies have shown that the geese are apparently sensitive to low-frequency vibrations. This device runs off a pair of motors that vibrate the wire. Sin says they're working now to make a solar-powered version. Still ahead, the disease-fighting benefits of nicotine. Plus, why you should treat yourself to some chocolate milk after your workout.
Sunshine for us right now in many parts of Central Virginia. Pretty view in Old Town Petersburg, where it is 71 degrees. Our full forecast is up next. I'll let you know when and where we could see more showers and storms again today.
CBS 6 Sky Tracker, sponsored by Baugh Auto Body.
Heavy rain causing major flooding problems to our west. High water delayed the start of some schools this morning and blocked roads across the Shenandoah Valley. And of course, we're keeping an eye on the river levels here in the metro area as well, Carrie.
Right, because they've been rising rapidly since yesterday, and it is a very murky James River that we're looking at right now from downtown Richmond. There's also been a good bit of debris coming downstream in this because, of course, there was some erosion that occurred along the James upstream. We've got sunshine right now, But man, earlier this morning it was foggy, including out at the airport where it is currently 69 degrees. But this morning it was a totally different story. This is our time lapse just after sunrise. The fog took a while to completely mix out, but once it did, oh, it was beautiful. Let's get back though to the James River, because that's our other issue that we're going to be dealing with through the rest of today and into tomorrow. But the good news, even though we have a flood warning for Richmond, is that our levels are going to stay at, I would say, relatively safe levels. No homes will be threatened by the Westham Gauge, which is near the Huguenot Bridge. It is going to just get up to that moderate flood stage around 15 feet by late this afternoon and early this evening, which is well above that flood stage. And even down at the Richmond locks, we're going to stay below that 11-foot level, which is typically when you start to see a little bit of water getting up to Dock Street. We should peak at about 10.3 feet by 5 o'clock. Latest reading puts us at about 9.5 feet. So this is good news, even though we had a lot of rain upstream, 5, even 6 inches of it that's been coming downstream. Because of this storm system, we are not going to see any significant flooding problems out of this. But we're not done with this system yet. It is still bringing us some rounds of cloud cover. You can see right here, even a few showers that were just up to our north and west earlier. And now that we've had clearing and we're entering the warmest part of our day, we should see, very similar to as we have the last several days, some of these very heavy scattered showers and storms forming. But they're pretty spotty, and I do not expect the aerial coverage today to be nearly as good as it has been the last several days, nor do I expect these to be quite as intense. They'll still have heavy rain locally, and they'll probably still have some lightning with it, maybe some small hail, but otherwise you can see these are pretty much hit or miss. So don't cancel any of your outdoor plans. Just stay weather aware. You can download our free weather app and be able to track this on your phones or your smart devices as you're out and about enjoying your Thursday evening. Now tomorrow late, you'll have to stay weather aware as well, because our next storm system is going to be coming out of the midsection of the country. There's the threat to our northwest for severe storms, but tomorrow afternoon it's going to feel kind of like a summer day. During the afternoon hours, we'll have plenty of sunshine, and we might see some of these pop-up showers and storms forming, especially as we get that upper energy coming with that next system, which will bring rounds of rain into central Virginia on Saturday primarily. So Saturday is our best day out of this storm system to get showers and storms. But remember, on Friday afternoon and evening, we could see some pop-up showers. They'll be hit or miss. But Saturday, here comes the cold front coming on through, and this is really going to bring a big temperature change as we go into Mother's Day and the beginning of next week. So check out today and tomorrow. We'll be near 80 degrees. Most of you will be into the 70s to near 80 for highs. Tomorrow will be our warmest day so far this month, up to 86. We'll get a few of those pop-up showers and storms. And then Saturday, we get scattered showers and storms as the front is coming through. And then notice much cooler Sunday and into Monday in the wake of that system. Cheryl.
Thank you, Carrie. In Health Team 6 News, they say milk does a body good. Well, apparently after a workout, chocolate milk does a body good, helping restore essential nutrients and protein, and the sugar helps replenish your energy. You might be wondering if any chocolate milk will do. Well, the answer is yes, but experts say choose a milk with fewer added ingredients for better digestion. Eating peppers may help lower the risk of developing Parkinson's disease. A new study finds as people eat more foods that contain small amounts of nicotine, like peppers and tomatoes, their risk of developing the movement disorder decreases. Previous studies have found a link between cigarettes and other forms of tobacco and a reduced risk of the disease. Nearly 1 million Americans have Parkinson's. A British prince in America today. What's on Harry's agenda? On today's Richmond Lifestyles calendar, you can enjoy jazz from the Jack Quintet Quartet tonight at the Jazz Cafe at the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts, 6 to 9 p.m. Admission is absolutely free. If you'd like to get more information, call 340-1400. Our latest Battle of the Brains brain teaser asked, what actor who portrayed a Confederate Army major in film lost his life when the German Luftwaffe shot down the passenger airline in which he was riding? It was actor Leslie Howard who portrayed Ashley Wilkes in the 1939 classic Gone with the Wind. Sandra Grise of Gloucester knew that and becomes the latest person to qualify for our grand prize brain teaser drawing, trips to the Bahamas and to the Outer Banks. And watch here tomorrow at noon for the next brain teaser and your chance to qualify. Britain's Prince Harry is in America, making a stop in Washington, D.C. today, attending a photography exhibit and then going to the British Embassy. On Friday, Prince Harry will travel here to Virginia to attend a wreath laying at the Tomb of the Unknowns at Arlington National Cemetery. Then he's off to Colorado, New Jersey, New York, and Connecticut. It's been exactly a year since Harry was in Washington, accepting a humanitarian award for his work with wounded service members. I noticed no Las Vegas on that itinerary this time.
I don't think so, not this time.
Not this time. Thanks for joining us here at noon. Have a great day.
For over 30 years, Rebath has been improving the value of homes by designing beautiful bathrooms. Our hassle-free remodels are quick, affordable, and stress-free. Rebath can make it all happen. Call Rebath now and save $600 on a complete Rebath system.